I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
What do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Elected himself, first rightful ruler. Hey yo, Eli, hail them high, hail the black king, born the 23rd of July. So tell them guy, who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time, them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them comes without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill. The lion will come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at
I went home. I didn't step back into the assembly. What I end up doing is, when I get out of college early, I would go to Bongo Head Full Gates by the Bingy house, because it was held in his yard in the West End. And my youth for me would sell ital and herbs, and I would patronize him, buy some herbs, some ital, and sat in. He's an artist too, you know. I sat with him while I eat the ital, and Bongo Head Full anything. You need a right to go to the store. You need to do this here. And till he got comfortable. Yes. And then I start taking him to the stores, and he little run Ras, take me here. And I get to ask questions, you know, reason about different topics that just come to my heavens. And that day when the brethren told I to go and read my Bible from page 1, when I went home, I went into the True Barrier. I was renting a house from my brother from the Bahamas who was living in ATL, was engaged to a successful black woman in ATL, and was living with her. So turned his home over to me, just pay rent, keep everything in his name. And, you know, he was familiar with the Rasta culture too, you know, being from the Caribbean islands raised up. So him kind of showed me little steps, and 5 Points was one of the places he showed me, you know. So from 5 Points, I then get the introduction to the West End.
Yeah.
And that brought me into the Rastafari community now.
Yes.
When I went home that evening, I went into the Trueberry, because I did turn that into my sanctuary room to sip the can from the front room, living room. And in my sanctuary, the Trueberry had bookshelf with books in it, but I never studied the books. It wasn't my books put there. I was just going to college, just trying to maintain grades and everything. And my college books was enough, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, because I never really read like that. You know, the first time I really read the Bible, I landed in jail in Miami by Jump Out. You know, the bad boys, say what you gonna do, and they show that where the police jump out for you.
I experienced that live in DC in the 90s. You know, we get jump out police and see them jump up on other people too. You know, so we live those experiences here in DC, so we know exactly what they are talking about.
So I experienced that twice in Miami. And Miami did seem like a racist place too. Cubans against African Americans, you know.
A lot of people don't talk about that part. Yes, a lot of people don't talk about that part. So
very serious.
So I was trained in the order by Ras Headful, Bongo Headful. That was one of the elders.
Yes, that was one of the first ancient elders of the Bingy house that I felt comfortable enough to be able to just question him about anything. Talked about women, we talk about the drums, meditations was flowing there. Why and I? Because when I went home that evening in the Trueberry at eye level on the shelf was a Bible. They didn't know it was there, but the father made it, that's a Bible. So I picked up the Bible like the Bible said, roll a draw, and started from page 1. And the Bible started to make sense. They are, being led by Zamen Fiskidos, by the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
It made sense. And I read every day. And I started to see I myself in the prophecy.
Okay.
I started to see I and I ancient ones, I and I ancestors in the prophecy.
Okay.
I started to identify I and I self. I started to see Ethiopia. I started to see out of blackness everything come from by reading by myself.
Yes, yes. It's an African story. It's an African story.
Because growing up with my grandmother going to the Catholic Church, it was a white Jesus philosophy.
Yes.
And after leaving the Catholic Church to public school in 3rd grade, I never had to go to church again. Because my mother didn't go to church. She basically watched church every Sunday on TV. But I didn't go physically. I man was then pounding reggae music, hearing that message. And it was reggae music, my brethren, that opened up the light to the message of the education of Africa.
Yes.
Of this King of Kings. The messages in the music is what caused me to go look. And there was a book growing up called Iterations of Rastafari.
Yes, we talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about it on the channel. Powerful book.
Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. Those were books I instantly stayed reading. Lots of poetry, lots of psalms in there, lots of iterations and visions of pictures that give inspiration by watching and reading. Those were like, yes, I can remember drawing enough Rastaman image in my school books, them with a big draw and big Congo and as a youth. And so as I see now with Bongo Headful now, questions came up since reading the prophecy about the ital liberty and the first estate of I and I in Genesis. And questions to him like, but what I and I don't deal with animals, but yet still I and I harps is made of animal skins. Yet still I and I wear leather shoe, leather hat. And what's more ital? And he started telling I and I, well, you know, we have rice skin harps, he have seen, and you have hemp skin harps, but these things is not so prevalent amongst I and I, but they are. And these agitations stayed with I and I. And like I said,
we have to evolve the trad. I'm glad you said that, you know, because these are things in the Nyabinghi order. I went to ISIS in Jamaica, earthquake, big up earthquake in Malvern, where they had all natural thing over the harps, but all of the harps bust during the, you know, that experiment never to work the greatest, you know. But that was a fully ital bingy, all, you know, the harps, them were the bass, everything had this material. He was trying it out, you know, but I know we can get hemp or something else, you know, designed the right way. So these are things that we have to let the ones know that the trad is not stagnant, just like His Majesty revised the Constitution. I can evolve the trad, you know, because even in the early days, I learned a lot of the Bingi elders used to eat fish. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I didn't know. I thought everybody was ital from the beginning, but there was a war even between the ital ones them and the ones who ate meat, and the ital ones them won, you know, in terms of now the Nyabinghi is fully associated with ital. You know what I mean? So that prevails. So that shows you, so we can evolve the trad, and our generation have our duty. So the trad in Nyabinghi in Atlanta was midnight popular at this time when the I was treading. And did the I know Van Benjamin personally?
In Atlanta, around Bongo Headful, I left Atlanta in 95. In 95, I was not acquainted with Brother Vaughn as yet.
Okay.
In 95, I came home because of hardship. I lost that American job that I had because on that Friday when I broke the fast on my Earth Day, it was prophesied to a 2-hour lunch break. My brethren Algie had just come from yard with some yard hob, and one draw didn't even finish the draw, just couple talks, and the brethren I sat back in the couch like, wow, till the 3 hours they pass, you know. And when I catch myself, I said, wow, it was a 2-hour break and it's 3 gone, and the brethren said, I go there for what? I know they not have no work when they reach there, jokingly and laughing there, you know. But man was just worried about, well, we not have to be in class. It's just a free up day. We're going to discuss. So I man tried in how speed gone to the place and not thinking really and truly, not put on no oil, you know, vising me eye. Me going there and as I coming out of the vehicle, walking from the parking lot to go in the building. The AmeriCorps leaders, them couple of them saw man, my team leader. At that time, they was calling him man Tafari. At that time in high school, I took the name Tafari because something about the name, my brethren.
Yes.
The name they give him man, it was a thing that I know coming up like I tell you, a revolutionary mentality for your born a Babylon name. Where Jackson come from? Jackson is the son of the slave Jackson. And you know, and it come down the line, and the son of Jack, and boy, so when I start to study what the name I man, Roberto in English it means Robert. Robert translation is old man.
Okay.
You know, and then Jackson. So the youths them call I man Ras from Little League 12, and so the name stuck with me 13, 15. By the time I reach high school and the agitations of Rastafari and sipping that in high school, I took the name Tafari onto myself.
Okay.
And that's how I would try, you know. Didn't legally change my name, but in Atlanta, I would be called Tafari.
Yes.
And same way to while in Atlanta, and during that time, I was introduced to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Okay.
The Tauido. And I stepped into the church because I was ready at that time to try to Ethiopia to move. And I was trying to see about citizenship. And they said there's two ways, easy, marriage or baptized in the church. And I took the easiest way, which was baptized in the church. And I was going to church every Sunday. Now I was holding Sabbath mystically, just the spirit. I lived alone. Had no woman. When I moved to Atlanta, my queen I was dating in Tuskegee, she said, I don't want no bumpkin. If you're going to have them Congo thing and you ain't going to have pretty locks like Noah and all my children, it's not going to happen. And I man said, man, too much bashing I man, you know, dung in I man, you know, because you there with I man for 3 years. You see I man born in Canada, the time is reggae music. You obviously know you there with a Rasta man, and you just ain't seeing the buds them yet. But now I starting to lax up. Is this little cheeky thing coming on? Yeah, I born in I man. Oh, she been to see Croix. She see my brother, my sister, all and then galaxy. Nah, you have to be pretty and so the father it was a sacrifice. That's what this life for Iman was, a sacrifice. If you really love Iman, you're gonna sacrifice that you love it.
So that sister that. was she African American sister, or she was from the Caribbean?
African American, a mother born in Florida, in Miami. They're from the south. Her father was born from the Bahamas.
Okay.
So her grandmother was a Bahamian. Okay. So they had a little island vibe, but she was born in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
In those days, in Miami days, the music they was listening to and pounding everywhere was Luke Skywalker. Boom, Luke Skywalker.
We talked about that with Rastas Jazanai Kush on that episode. Yes. We talk about she went to the same high school as Luke, and the booty music. You know, we used to listen that as youths too. The big thing. So I
lived not too far from that same Northwestern High School. I lived in the same ghettos, in Liberty City, in the ghetto in Miami.
Liberty City, yeah, man. Big up Liberty City.
The house wasn't too far around from where I lived at the Nyabinghi Center. I just never really knew Jazanaya and the house at that time. I didn't know Miami well. I was just going to school and met up with this sister, and my wall was really what she introduced Iman to.
Yeah. Basically, yes. So you're dear. You got fired from your job because you showed up, eyes them red like a fire. You think of the herb and your leadership, them see the eye and they say, boy, this
go
man
home. Go home. We don't even come to the core. I don't want the core to see the eye. Go home. We will call the eye on Monday, Tafari, to let the eye know what's happening. I say, all right. I drove home and When I got in the house, I threw the keys on top of the TV and landed in the bed like this. Boom. Couldn't believe it, Aya. Couldn't believe it. The brethren says so. That's what they meant. The brethren says so, Aya.
Yeah. Rastafari. Emperor Haile Selassie the first. Tell the people about embarrassment. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, well, through the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood. But when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, that light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into